So, when I was a child, I loved the flap books. Oh, my stars. They were the best. It was like, what's under the flap? Oh, one never knows. And then you lift the flap and you're like, oh, I knew it. I knew it. Every single time. Even if you had lifted the flap for the 2000th time. Okay, this is called See Inside Great Cities. This book is ingenious. I love this book. Okay, let's face it. That phrase is getting so old. I love all the books. Okay, I love all the books. I want to say it over and over. I can't help it. This book is about Sydney, Australia, London, England, New York, United States. Did you know that? If you didn't, you need this book, not your kids. Okay, then it's Venice, Shanghai, Istanbul, Paris, and more great cities. How cryptic is that? Well, let's see what it has to say about that. Now, this book gives you a picture of the city, and then it gives you info. Then you lift the flap, and oh boy, what have we here? It is like that on every page. Fantastic, big pictures. See how the story continues? I love that. I have not read this book to my children. I have only read it by myself. I'm not going to lie. I find it fascinating. I have tried not to let my husband see me sitting around reading this children's book, but I have to admit, I have a little problem with it. Haven't worn the flaps out yet, but gotta say, really struggling here. Can't help that I love children's books. Now, let's go to the more cities. Oh boy. Now we're talking about Washington, D.C., Cairo, Berlin, Janeiro. I don't actually know how to say that. I gotta look it up on Google. Moscow, Tokyo. Except, to be honest, a little bit of a bummer here. Moscow doesn't have a flap. I really wanted a flap. But, check it out. Washington, D.C. has a flap. All right. I know, I'm being foolish. But it's only because I'm foolishly in love with this book. Let's see inside great cities. How much better can you be? Now, my grandpa was a traveler. He traveled the world. He had stories of daring escapes and riding on the high seas in the middle of storms where he barely made it out. Okay, I have none of those stories. I have only lived in a teeny tiny little farm in Kentucky, and I have lived in a little apartment in Minnesota, and then I've lived in Kentucky again. So, this book is awesome to me. And it'll be awesome to my children as soon as I trust them to lift the flaps. I'm going to do that. I'm going to just take the plunge and let them. Because the return policy is so great. If a flap gets torn off, I can send it back, and they'll give me one back for 50% off. I'm sorry, but that is an excellent, excellent return policy. And that's for lifetime, mind you. It's not just for a year or two. You're not paying $20 for a guarantee that's just like stacked on top, you know, of a watch or a piece of equipment or something. This is a book. This will teach you things.